All right, everyone, let's go ahead and get started. With your 2H pencil, you're going to take your ruler and line it up with the very right side of your worksheet. Okay, so the 0 should go up at the top of the black box, and then the 7 goes all the way down at the bottom. We are going to be creating a horizon line in the exact center of this box, which means you need to make a horizontal tick mark at 3.5. When we make the horizon line in our pictures, we always have to do it on the right and on the left. Just like when you were making your grids, I want you to make sure that you measure both sides. That will help to keep it so that everything is level and correct. So I'm going to lift up my ruler, move it over to the other side, line it up on the left side, and make a horizontal tick mark at the 3.5. After you do that, you can lay your ruler horizontally like we've talked about before. Spread your fingers out and draw a line across. You remember when we've been talking about our ruler use, I've been going on and on and on and on about how we turn the ruler and we don't turn the paper, and that it's very important and it will be really important later. It's now. It's really important now that you don't turn the paper. This is the project, okay? So make sure that you're always turning the ruler and you're not turning your paper, or it will flip your picture upside down. And then it makes it very difficult for you to draw, okay? So what we're gonna do next is to take our rulers and line them up on the horizon line, which is what this is. And you'll notice that your horizon line should be 10.5 inches long. So I'm gonna go over here to, let's see, 5.25. So 5 is right here, 5.5 is right here. The quarter is right between the two. Okay, so 5, 5.5, 5.25. And it's right here, and you're going to make a tiny dot right there at 5.25, which is right here. All right, we got that. Okay, next we're going to do some labeling. Go ahead and write the words horizon line, H-O-R-I-Z-O-N, line, L-I-N-E, on the horizon line. Remember, we learned yesterday that the horizon line is the viewer's eye level. So this represents where your head is in all of the pictures. So whoever is looking at it, this is where their eyeballs are. That's the horizon line. This right here, you need to draw a little arrow to it and label it with vanishing point, V-A-N-I-S-H-I-N-G, point, P-O-I-N-T. The vanishing point is the imaginary dot in the distance where everything seems to disappear. It is literally just a little device that we use in order to make things look accurate and dimensional, okay? It can go anywhere on the horizon line, but it always goes on the horizon line. In real life, we see in multiple vanishing point perspective. So you'll notice that sometimes when you're looking around trying to make everything make sense for perspective, some things will work and some things won't, because we have multiple vanishing points as your head moves and everything is crooked. But we're gonna force everything that we draw in this unit to be in one vanishing point perspective to learn the basics of how it will work, okay? All right, so for this, as you can see, we're gonna do 3 boxes and then complex forms. I changed the complex forms to be simple furniture because we're drawing a room drawing, and it makes a little more sense to start with some furniture forms so that you can learn the beginning of how to do that. While we're doing this, if you would do me a real solid favor and make sure you're checking on your neighbors, and if your neighbors are doing anything that, like, not misbehavior-wise, but if they've misunderstood, help them to ask for help so that we can all learn how to do this together, but you'll notice errors quicker than I will, so it's useful if you do that. All right, so let's start. We're gonna start with a box up here in the upper left, and it's going to be kind of a little box, and it doesn't matter if it's exactly where I put it, okay, but it needs to be up here somewhere. It's going to be a rectangle that is vertical. So I'm going to start up here. I'm going to take my ruler, and I'm going to start, I'm making sure that my ruler, look at my ruler, y'all, is parallel with this line. Remember, parallel means that there are two lines that run alongside each other and will never ever meet. So in order to check that it's parallel, I'm looking to make sure that there's the same distance all the way down from the top to the bottom, okay? That will keep it parallel. And I'm going to draw a little line that's about, it's longer than an inch, shorter than 2. Just like that. Okay, if yours is a little bit more over here, that's cool. If it's a little bit more over here, that's cool. It's a little bigger, also cool. A little smaller, just fine. If it's really smaller over here, not okay, move it. All right, next we're going to draw the bottom side of this rectangle. I'm going to make sure that my ruler is parallel to the horizon line, which is exactly the same as making sure that it's parallel on this side. You line it up, and then we're just checking with our eyeballs to make sure that it's about the same distance here as is over here. So then it will be parallel to the horizon line. And then I'm going to draw a line that is shorter than the line I just drew because I asked for a rectangle. Right there. Next, I'm going to complete the rectangle. So what I'm going to do when I draw this side line is I'm going to check and make sure that this line and this line are parallel. And I can kind of do that with the numbers because all of our rulers are clear plastic. So when I look at this, if I'm looking for this line to make sure that it's my ruler straight, I'm going to look at the numbers to make sure they're all the same distance away from that line. Okay, and I'll keep talking about that. So if that didn't make sense, just make sure that this ruler is parallel with this line over here. They're both going the same direction. You're going to draw another line that is vertical and is the same length as the first one. After that, you're going to take your ruler, make sure that it is parallel to this top line, right? I can see that one of my lines is a little bit too long. I'll erase it after I draw the top. Just like that, okay? I usually erase mistakes after I draw the lines because sometimes I erase the good stuff and I don't want to erase the good stuff. All right, so the next thing that we're going to do is to take our ruler and we're going to draw very, very, very light lines that we're going to have to erase most of, okay? So we're going to take our ruler and line it up with this very top corner of our rectangle, the top right corner, and the vanishing point. You need to make sure that your ruler is touching both the top right corner and the vanishing point. It has to go directly there at the same time. So you need to use those same skills that we've been using, which is use your non-dominant hand to place the ruler, right? It moves it around, but you're not pushing hard until it's right in spot, and then you press down harder. Draw your line from the ruler, the top to the vanishing point. And then we'll just rotate our ruler to this next visible corner. And draw a line from the bottom right corner to the vanishing point. And then you're going to move it all the way over to the bottom left corner and draw a line from the bottom left corner to the vanishing point. When you get finished, I would like you to look at your neighbor's drawing and make sure that your drawing looks just like theirs with size differences, right? Because we didn't draw the same size rectangle, okay? But everybody's should be doing the same thing. If anybody's drawing does not have these right on the corner, raise your hand and tell me so that I can come help. They gotta be right on the corner and right to the vanishing point. Now, this looks like maybe a skyscraper. You know, if we're Spider-Man and we're standing on top and we're getting ready to jump, this is probably what the buildings look like. But we're not drawing skyscrapers, we're drawing furniture. Furniture ends. This is gonna turn into a cabinet, like something you might have in the kitchen, you know, like a kitchen cabinet up above. And so what we need to do is to make sure that we're going to shorten it. We have to end the box. Now the back of the box, just like my little tissue box, the back of the box is the same as the front of the box. It's exactly the same, which means that this back line here needs to be parallel to this front line. To get that to happen, you have to take your ruler, and watch me do this before you do it. Pull it over just a little bit. It's gonna be not a real wide box, like a shorty cabinet, and make sure that the ruler is parallel using the numbers like I showed you, and then also making sure that the lines will all line up, okay? And then I'm gonna start from this bottom one. You see where I am right here? I'm gonna start from this bottom one and draw the line up, like that. Okay, go ahead and do that. Next, y'all, the side of the box is going to connect to the bottom of the box, right? They're definitely connected. So what we need to do to get that to work is to take our ruler and we're going to make it horizontal so that it will be parallel with the horizon line, just like this part of the box, because that's the same side. And I'm going to take it and I will be lining it up with the horizon line, and I'm going to slide it down until it comes just below where this first line hits the orthogonal or converging line, okay? And then I'm going to draw a line right here parallel to the horizon line and stop drawing at the end of that box. Thing we're going to draw is a box that is on the horizon line. We're going to do it over to the right. It's going to be, nope, I lied. No, never mind. We're gonna do this one first because it's easier and the other one's a different shape. So this, we'll do the one under the horizon line over here. So let's go ahead and get started with that. This one is going to be more of a horizontal rectangle. So take your ruler and we're gonna keep it parallel to the horizon line, parallel to the bottom of the page, and to the right-ish of the vanishing point. Y'all, if you draw stuff that lines up exactly with the vanishing point, you can, and it can be correct, but it will look stupid, all right? So if all of our furniture is a little to the left, a little to the right, or spread right out like this, it's a good idea. We don't want to end right at the vanishing point because it makes your furniture look dumb. You'll see if you accidentally do it. You'll be like, oh, that's what she means, it looks dumb. All right, so I'm going to take this and I'm going to draw a horizontal line. Yeah, that's pretty good. Almost 2 inches. So remember, we're in the family of ish here, so almost 2 inches is fine. Parallel to the horizon line. And then as it's going to be a rectangle, I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to draw a shorter line parallel to the sides of the paper. Yeah, looks like it's about 1 inch. About 1 inch, you know, ish. And then I'm going to take my ruler and make it parallel to the horizon, parallel to the bottom of the paper, and draw another line. I got that one way too long. It doesn't matter, I'll fix it. And then I'm going to end my rectangle with the shorter line that I was trying for, but I got excited and drew my line too long. And make sure that my vertical ruler is parallel with the side of the paper, it's parallel with the side of the box. It is straight up and down as best I am able. And then I'm going to draw that. And then I have this weird little hanger-oner line. I'm going to go erasing it. Alrighty-yos, we've got to draw the top side and the right side going to the vanishing point. So I'm going to start down here with the lower right and draw a line to the vanishing point. Make sure it's touching the corner and touching the vanishing point. Honestly, if you remember where, like that all of them need to go to the vanishing point, it doesn't matter where you start, but I like to start on one side because it helps me to remember to do the ones in the center. Sometimes if I don't do it that way, I forget. You should be drawing 3 converging lines to the vanishing point. Three converging lines to the vanishing point. And home fries, this is going to turn into a coffee table. We're making a coffee table out of this one, so it needs to be a little longer than our shorty friend up top, right? Because coffee tables are kind of long, so that's what we're going to do. So we're going to go ahead and take our rulers, and we're going to end the top of it first. Take our rulers and line it up with the top of the box and slide that bad boy up, making sure that he is close, is parallel to the horizon line. I'm going to start with the middle line and draw it over, right? Just like that. Starting with the middle line makes it so that you don't accidentally draw it over and longer than it needs to go. Okay, so I started here and I went doo, 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 doo. These are just little tricks that help me to do it correctly and not have to make so many mistakes. All right, and now we need to end it with a vertical line that is parallel to the front of the box. So we're going to line the ruler up with this far right side. Slide that bad boy over. Make sure that he's still parallel to the side of the paper. Stop when he gets to this little conjunction. And draw a line down, stopping at the end of the box. And then erasing our converging lines. And here's the last one, the weird little form all the way over to the side. So this one is going to be on the horizon line, but sticking just a little bit above the horizon line. So I'm going to take my ruler, I'm going to make sure that it's parallel with the side of the paper, and I'm going to draw a line. Actually, I'm using the inch side so that I can give you an approximate measurement, and I wasn't doing it before because I just got it upside down. So, like an inch and 3/4, maybe a little bit longer. So longer than 1.5, shorter than 2. Okay, and that will be the tall side. The next side that we're going to do is going to be shorter, because usually, not always, but usually, your sofas are taller than they are wide. Okay? I'm going to take my ruler, make it parallel to the horizon line. And I'm going to draw a line over. This one will be shorter. Maybe an inch and a half, maybe an inch and a quarter. I think I got an inch and a quarter there. But again, approximate is fine. And I think that needs to be a little bit longer. So what just happened is I looked at the proportions and I thought about how silly the couch would look. Oh, that was just it. I just thought about how silly it would look. All right, now, like I showed you, we're gonna draw the side arm of the couch. So we're gonna take this and keep it parallel to the right side of the paper, perpendicular to the horizon line, and I'm gonna draw a line up. I'm gonna stop before I get to the horizon line, because stuff that ends on the horizon line or really close to it also looks stupid. A little bit above is usually okay, but a tiny bit below, it just funny and skinny and dumb looking. So we want to make sure that it's got a little bit. This will be sort of stupid looking and it will help. The next thing I'm going to do is to draw a little line that's parallel to the horizon line, but she's not going to go all the way over to the back of my little sofa here. I'm going to leave about a pencil's width, approximately. If yours is a little bit chubbier, that's fine. If yours is a little bit skinnier, that's fine. Sofas have backs in all sorts of widths. Okay. And then I'm going to take my ruler, I'm going to make it parallel to the side of the page. I'm going to draw a little line that matches the other one. And then take my ruler, make it parallel to the horizon line. And shorten these bad boys. And do a little bit of erasing. So because this is a different shape, we have different points, different visible areas that will need to go back to the vanishing point. So this will go back, this will go back, that will go to the vanishing point, and that will go to the vanishing point. So we're going to draw 1, 2, 3, 4 lines. Okay? I'm going to start with the top and go down so that you're able to see them as we go. All right? So I'm going to line up my ruler with the vanishing point. I'm going to line up my ruler with the top of my little sofa shape, draw my line to the vanishing point. I'll line up my ruler with the next little part and draw my line to my vanishing point. I'm going to go to this next little bit right here, go to the vanishing point, go to the vanishing point. Okay? Very complicated skyscraper. Go into the vanishing point. So we're going to end our little sofas, and I'm going to start back here with the back of the sofa. Now here's the thing, y'all. Each of your lines will need to connect to another line. So with this, you really need to make sure that you go boink, 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 so that they all connect. Or parts of your sofa will be weirdly longer than the other parts, and we don't want that, all right? So I'm going to go ahead and take my ruler, and you know what? Let's start with the bottom part. I'm going to take my ruler, make sure it's parallel to the side of the paper, okay? And I'm going to start with this line, because I can see it real good. It's right from here, and draw a line down. And then I'm going to take my ruler and make it parallel to the horizon line. And you are going to make a weird and long skinny line. And it's not going to be wrong, it's going to be just fine. So take your ruler and line it up with the horizon line. I'm going to slide it down carefully, keeping it parallel until it gets very close to this spot. And then I'm going to draw a line from where this line went up and go boop, beep, boop, beep, boop, beep, boop, beep, boop, all the way back to the back of the little sofa, so it's right there. After I do that, I'm going to turn my ruler so that it's perpendicular to the horizon line and parallel to the side of the page. I'm going to put it right where these two came together, right at that intersection. Make sure that I'm keeping it parallel and draw the line up. And then I have a sofa.